when they play Penn State this weekend, we think Oregon's going to win. And the Hard Count Herald says this might be Dan Lanning's best team yet. All right? Now, remember what we talked about this offseason relative to Oregon and what we talked about with Penn State. What did we say with Oregon? Hey, a lot of new pieces. The returning production numbers aren't really there. New quarterback. All those things are true. With Penn State, we were saying, hey, they bring back everybody. They're top 35 in returning production all of college football. Their quarterback's back. Their backfield's back. Guys that could have gone pro came back to what? Go win a national championship. Which, who's to say they don't lose this game and still do? I think that's definitely on the table. But if Oregon walks in and wins that game, I think it's very fair to say this is Dan Lanning's best team he's had yet at Oregon. We'll break it down right now. Before we do that, though, one, if you're an Oregon fan, or if you're a college football sicko, or if you're a Penn State fan, whoever you are, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. College football, nothing but college football year-round. Now, I know some of y'all college football sickos. You want to be at these games, all right? This game in Beaver Stadium, whiteout conditions. It is a bucket list item for me as a college football fan as well. But if you want to be at the game, you want to make sure you get the best ticket for the best price. Game Time is how we're getting that done, okay? So the Game Time app is phenomenal. It gives you a view from your seat before you even purchase it, so you don't end up sitting behind the Jumbotron. You don't end up sitting behind some obscure pole that's somewhere in the stadium. Like you're viewing your view from your seat before you purchase it using the Game Time app, which is a tremendous feature. Also, you can buy up to the last minute. So if you're sitting there Saturday morning, you're like, man, I wonder what tickets are going for right now. Game Time, got you covered. Check ticket prices in real time. They will get you taken care of. All right, so hear me clearly. We're going to save you all some money. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code HARDCOUNT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use code HARDCOUNT, HARDCOUNT, for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, download the Game Time app today. Get yourself locked in, especially for a game like this. If you're even thinking about going, this is your sign. If you're thinking about going, to use Game Time and to get to this game and to be in attendance for a whiteout atmosphere, especially if you're an Oregon fan, because I think you're going to win the game. But if you win this game, if you're Oregon, think about what's true if Oregon ends up beating Penn State in Happy Valley in those conditions against that against that Penn State roster, rather, with what Oregon has. It would mean that your new quarterback is who you thought he was, arguably as talented as any quarterback you've had under Dan Lanning to this point in time, with, Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel being in that category says something. But also it means that he's truly a psychopath. Like the whiteout and what that does to any given college football player, much less a quarterback in his first year starting for a different team in Oregon. Like if you walk into that thing and have success, you're wired differently upstairs. Just full transparency. That's how I feel about you. Also, if the defense for Oregon is good enough to keep that quarterback and that backfield at bay, with all the offensive line back, essentially, with the backfield that took you for 300 yards last year on the ground, like if you're able to match up against that and play well enough to win in that spot, think about how good that defense is and what that says about them. And then also for the weapons for Oregon. We've talked ad nauseum about how good we think they are and all those things. Easy to say that when you're hanging half 100 on, Oklahoma State, or more than half 100, quite frankly. When you're taking Northwestern out to the woodshed, wish you would have covered, but neither here nor there. Like, the weapons are awesome for Oregon. But if you do it against Jim Knowles and that defense with all the production they brought back on that side of the football, okay, check mark, verified. The weapons are elite. And it would, to me, just be validation of all the pieces Oregon's had. And we always thought they were talented, but to go win a game like that in that spot, it'd be validating for the way you put it all together if you're Dan Lanning. It'd be validation, too, for what Will Stein has done on the offensive side, for what Tosh Lupoi has done on the defensive side, because I think there is something to be said for the lack of returning production from last year is fair to question, but we've been saying this for a while on this show. Lack of proven production doesn't mean the future production isn't still super capable and talented. Like, I think we'd all have a moment here. If Oregon beats Penn State, we say, oh, yeah, actually, those top 10 portal classes they've been reeling in, oh, those top 10, top 5 recruiting classes they've landed, actually, maybe that does mean something. Maybe Oregon should be taken a little bit more seriously year in and year out and not factor in the proven production quite as much as we do with some of these other programs. So if this is all true, think about this. It's September. Right? Think about different Oregon teams that Dan Lanning's had since he's gotten there. They've taken a second to totally mesh and gel. Like, go year by year here. The first ever game Dan Lanning had at Oregon was against Georgia. They got spanked. A little bit later, though, in the first month of him being there, 3-point win over Washington. Washington State. Washington State wasn't all that great that year. Like, they won 6 games. And then in 2023, still a good year for Oregon, but you have a 1-score win over Texas Tech. Texas Tech finished 6-6 that year. So again, September, Oregon, come on now, let's put it together. Let's get rolling here. In 2024, you have a 10-point win over Idaho. This is the team that won the Big Ten championship, that made the college football playoff. 3-point win over Boise State. Now, Boise State still made the college football playoff, so I think one of the 12 best teams in college football. But at that point in time, them coming to Autzen, you only win that game by 3 points. I'm just saying, I don't think Oregon in November would have only won that game by 3, is my take on this. So if it's the 2025 edition of Oregon, and you go beat Penn State in the first month of the season at their place with a wideout, with you being triple digits in returning production, you see where I'm going with this? I think that being the jumping off point for this team and them only getting better going forward, this, I think, would be very fair to say this is Dan Lanning's best team. So I think the hard count Herald's on the money here. I think Dan Lanning and Oregon will beat Penn State. I think we'll be saying those things on Sunday morning when they get it done over the Nittany Lions in Happy Valley.